Dogman can camouflage in autumn. Dear Scary Stories NYC. Yo, Scary Dogman Stories, a long-time listener, first-time writer, or however you say it. Listen, I used to see Dogman all the time where I live in PA, straight up until around 2013 or 2014 maybe, and then it all stopped. I used to sort of be an expert about the Pennsylvania Dogman, or at least I thought so. These days I don't even know if Dogman still lives here in the state or not. Either he has changed his migratory pattern drastically, or he is gone. One or the other. But for a long time, I seemed to be getting good at predicting what was going to happen next with those creatures. And then, like I said, they stopped coming around. It took me half a year before I accepted that it was for real, and I have not heard of another sighting in my locality since then either. Between Shermansdale to the north and Schlosser or Middlesex to the south, there's a hilly, less populated natural area set aside as a state game land. This was the general place wherein I and a collection of other people saw the Dogman for years and years. In the beginning, we only made summer sightings, and it was our initial theory that these creatures were only in Pennsylvania in the summertime. We'd see them from later spring until when the leaves started changing colors. And then for years, nobody reported a sighting in any other season. I'd like to give you an example of the kind of sightings in the summer that we would have, before I explain something we discovered that might or might not be useful to someone out there listening to this. So, nearly every sighting of the beast that I heard of anyone claiming in the early days involved the creature either hunting, scavenging, eating, or carrying food off somewhere to eat. In all cases but one, the beast was seen as a carnivore or scavenger, a meat eater. I knew one woman who claimed that she saw the creature eating from a huckleberry bush in the area. I don't actually know what a huckleberry bush would even look like. The internet says they are crunchy blueberries. Well, maybe the Dogman thinks it's an animal then, and thinks he's crunching its bones. My one summer sighting was not too out of the ordinary, in that I saw a dog-headed Bigfoot marching past my tent in the night, carrying some kind of unmoving creature in one of its hands. Maybe it was a squirrel. Maybe it was a bird. I'm not sure, but it wasn't very large. I had been sleeping in my tent, but something woke me up, and then I had insomnia. I sat in front of the tent flap, staring out of the tent at the night. I had it open wide enough for me to see out, but I still sort of felt safe in the darkness inside there. There was a quiet crashing of leaves that drew my attention ahead of me, to the left, and I felt alarmed when I saw a dog's head coming out of the woods at 6 or 7 feet up in the air. Instinctively, I backed up a bit into the tent, not wanting to be seen, as I watched the rest of this creature walk out into my view on its hind legs. Although it was standing like a bear, its posture was less stiff, and it seemed more used to moving bipedally. It marched from my left to my right, and then back behind some foliage, its right arm swinging as it held whatever kind of prey that was. The Dogman was not seeming to be interested in me at all, and it was quickly out of my view. I do remember it as a bipedal German Shepherd, but I know the markings on the fur were not like that at all. It was colored a kind of a gray that seemed to reflect light in a different way from most hair or fur. It seemed to be able to take on the hue of things around it, but only to a limited extent. If you've seen true chameleons like octopi, the color changes they are capable of making are far more sophisticated. But I do think there was some kind of a reflective ability to the fur of the creature I saw. Almost as though the fur had tiny little natural biological mirrors inside each strand, as crazy as I know that sounds. When I first started meeting people from our area who had seen the Dogman, or who had seen a Bigfoot in our region. We only spoke of summer sightings. We had a general idea that the thing either hibernated through cold weather, or else migrated outward, probably to the south. We even wondered if the creature we saw might go south and become what people call the Lugaroo, or the Rougarou, down there. All of those theories went out the window, however, when a woman I'm gonna call Myrtle came to us with our first report, which specifically asserted that the creature is some kind of a chameleon in earnest, able to seasonally camouflage itself. According to the witness Myrtle, she was out with her sister in the woods behind their house, staying up late. They weren't planning on camping out there. They just didn't enjoy the company that their parents had invited over, and so they were hiding out in the woods until they could look back and see the lighting change in their family's house. Then they would know it was safe to come back inside. Although it was dark out there was enough lighting from their home and the surrounding backyards of the other homes that they could clearly see everything around them, or so they thought. Bored, they decided to play a driving game even though they weren't moving. It was that one where you have to spy with your little eye something that starts with an A, then something that starts with a B, and so forth. Like the sisters said she spied Alpha Centauri, and Mert let her get away with it because she didn't know her constellations very well. When Myrtle looked all around, squinting in the darkness to find something that started with a B, she was not very successful. In fact, she was thinking about cheating and saying she saw blackness, but Myrtle's not very good at cheating, so she just scrutinized her surroundings even more. And that was when she saw it. There was something which she had looked at probably 3 or 4 times without paying much attention to, before she thought she saw a part of it move. It had seemed to be part of a tree, but then it looked different somehow. Had it changed? Or had she been mistaken the first time she saw it? Studying the area even more closely, Myrtle saw the branch of the tree move again, and suddenly it looked a lot more like a hairy caveman arm than a wooden branch. Overwhelmed with fear, Myrtle let out a little squeal, which frightened her sister and caused her sister to squeal even more loudly. Then that tree, off in the distance, made a sound like it was really unhappy or exasperated, like a heavy, sad sigh. And then it got up and walked away on its hind legs. Only when that tree walked away, they could see it was not a tree. It was a dogman. It was an upright bipedal dogman, and it was carrying something with it as it departed that was apparently about to become its next meal. The thing that Myrtle was most impressed by was that she never thought there was a creature there, until it got up and revealed its full height, then walked away on its hind legs. Once it was moving, she could see it clearly, but when it held still behind the tree trunk, it seemed to become part of that tree. She kept insisting that it was more than just hiding. It was a form of camouflage. It was her testimony that clued us in, that the dogman might be in the area all year round, but it might just be harder to spot in the autumn and the winter. The last sighting we had before the creature went radio silent was of a completely white dogman in a snowstorm. It raises the question, do some dogmen have the ability to change color like a chameleon? If so, how? Is this a physical change that happens seasonally, or is it something more? Well, the sighting of the white dogman set a bunch of us off, and we decided to collectively work together to set up game trail cameras and find ourselves some proof that dogman really is a thing in Pennsylvania. We covered a lot of area with our cameras between the lot of us. It's been, I guess, around 8 years since then, and none of us have seen another dogman again in that entire time. None of us have any Dogman or Bigfoot images or video either. It's as if the phenomena got up and moved to a place with less video surveillance. We had really expected things to heat up, but instead they seem to have quieted down. Permanently. We've never seen them again since we learned that. Dogman can camouflage in autumn. You might not know this, but some of us big feet consider ourselves gorilla adjacent. Since today is World Gorilla Day, please consider sending a PayPal donation to your old talking gorilla face Sasquatch friend Bigfoot, aka moi. I promise I won't share it with Henry or Peter or anyone. Seriously, in the past month, we've had 3 people have to quit our PayPal subscribers club at peterbernard.com. That's our breakfast fund. We buy our breakfast with that money. And when someone quits, that means a day with no eggs or sausages. If we don't eat something and have some coffee in the morning, we can't do our best work, and then we end up doing things like making World Gorilla Day the executive producer of the show, which makes no sense at all. Wouldn't you rather see your own name up there as executive producer? Well, just go to peterbernard.com and sign up to our PayPal subscribers club. A $7 member there gets all the perks of a $10 YouTube channel member here. Listen, I gotta go celebrate World Gorilla Day, so here's Henry with the rest of the deets. Hank? Thanks, Biggie. And thanks to all of you for watching this far. If you liked it, please click like. If you'd like to see more of our work, please subscribe. And also click that bell icon if you'd like to be notified when we put out a new episode. To become an executive producer, you can donate to us through the thanks button under each of our videos or through our paypal.me/peterbernard209 page. To receive cool perks like secret uncensored Dogman episodes far too wild to ever run on this channel, you can become a YouTube channel member by clicking the join button. Or join our PayPal subscribers club at peterbernard.com. Joining either at the $3 a month level or above gets you access to our over 25 hours of secret uncensored Dogman stories available nowhere else. Do you have a scary story about Dogman or some other kind of high strangeness that happened to you? Let us know by emailing us at scarystoriesnyc@gmail.com or by leaving us a voicemail message at 804-LA-SCARY. You may need to call back on that when it cuts off after I think 3 minutes. And if you don't want to do any of that stuff, thank you for simply watching to the end. Good night, and have a scary tomorrow.
Come back for more scary stories.